Before we dive into this story, please like and subscribe. Let us know where you're watching from. Dr. James Carter stands in the rain outside the twisted metal wreckage, the car his wife drove, the car his two daughters sat in, the back seat where his son laughed yesterday morning, now crushed, burned, silent. The police officer puts a hand on his shoulder. Brake failure, mechanical defect, these things happen. But James knows better. He's a forensic investigator. He sees things others miss. The brake line cut too clean. The accelerator jammed deliberately. The timing too perfect. His wife called him 3 hours before the crash. Frantic, scared. "James, I found something at work. The trial data. The children in the study, they're dying. The company knows. They're hiding it." She worked at Meridian Pharmaceuticals, clinical trial coordinator. The new drug supposed to treat childhood leukemia, MX47, supposed to save lives, but the internal reports showed something else. Cardiac failures, organ damage, 12 children dead. Reports altered, data falsified, deaths blamed on the cancer, not the cure. His wife planned to go public. She copied files, gathered evidence, prepared to contact the FDA. Someone found out. 3 hours later, her car malfunctioned at 70 miles per hour on a winding mountain road. James buries his family on a Tuesday. Rain falls throughout the service. 27 people attend. He stands alone at the graveside after everyone leaves. 4 coffins. His entire world gone. He makes a decision. Not quick revenge. Methodical. Precise. He has time. He has skills. He has nothing left to lose. 2 weeks later, James applies for a job at Meridian Pharmaceuticals, safety compliance investigator. They hire him. His credentials are impeccable. They don't know he's the husband. Different last name after his wife kept her maiden name. Different city on his resume. New identity. New purpose. For 15 years, James works inside Meridian. He documents everything, every falsified report, every bribed official, every executive who knew children were dying. He copies files, records conversations, builds an archive of evidence so comprehensive that no lawyer could dismiss it. But evidence isn't enough. James wants them to feel what he felt, to lose what he lost, to understand the pain of watching innocence destroyed by greed. He starts with Dr. Victor Moss, chief researcher, the man who personally altered the trial data, the man who wrote the reports blaming cancer for deaths the drug caused. Dr. Moss has a daughter, 12 years old, diagnosed with leukemia. James arranges for her to receive MX47, experimental treatment, cutting-edge medicine. Dr. Moss signs the consent forms himself, believes in his own lies. His daughter's heart fails 3 months later. James sends Dr. Moss copies of the original trial data with his daughter's death certificate. Now you know what your drug really does.
The CFO, Robert Torres, profited most. Bonuses based on stock prices dependent on successful drug trials. He pushed for approval, despite the deaths. James discovers Robert's offshore accounts, the embezzlement, the insider trading, anonymous tips to the SEC, federal investigation, frozen assets. Robert loses everything, his house, his cars, his reputation. James sends one message. You valued money over children's lives. Now you have neither. 3 years into his revenge, James reaches the CEO, Margaret Whitfield. She knew from the beginning. Every death report crossed her desk. She chose profit over lives, chose silence over truth, chose to let MX-47 go to market knowing it killed children. Margaret develops pancreatic cancer, stage 4, terminal. The irony doesn't escape James. He works in her hospital, manages her care, ensures she receives only comfort medications, not the experimental drugs Meridian developed, not the treatments that might extend her life. In her final days, James visits her room, sits beside her bed, shows her the videos. His daughter's birthday party 2 days before they died, his son learning to ride a bike, his wife laughing at dinner, the moment she destroyed. "You took everything from me," James says quietly. "I wanted you to see what you stole, to understand the cost of your choices." Margaret tries to speak. Her voice fails. James plays more videos. His wife's frantic phone call, her fear, her determination to expose the truth, the last message she left: "I love you. I'm doing the right thing." "She died doing the right thing," James continues. "You're dying knowing you did the wrong thing. There's a difference." Margaret closes her eyes. Tears stream down her face. She dies alone that night. James releases all the evidence the next morning. 15 years of documentation. FBI raids Meridian headquarters. Arrests follow. Executives, lawyers, researchers, officials who took bribes.
The trial lasts 8 months. Public, televised, every detail exposed. The falsified data, the dead children, the cover-up. Families testify. Parents who lost children. Parents who were silenced. Parents who suspected but couldn't prove. Meridian collapses. Bankruptcy, criminal convictions, dozens of people imprisoned. The pharmaceutical industry faces new regulations, stricter oversight, independent review boards, changes that might have saved James's family. James testifies at the hearing, explains his 15-year investigation, his infiltration, his evidence. The prosecutor asks if he regrets his methods. "I regret that justice required me to become something I wasn't," James answers. "But I don't regret making them feel what they made me feel. They needed to understand the price of their choices." The judge acknowledges his testimony, grants immunity for his investigative work, recognizes the unprecedented nature of his evidence. Without James, none of the convictions would have happened. James visits the cemetery. 4 graves, fresh flowers on each. He kneels in the grass, tells his family about the verdict, about the convictions, about the changes in the law. "I made them pay," he whispers, "not with their lives, with everything that mattered to them, the way they took everything that mattered to me." He stands, walks away, his revenge complete, his family avenged, his purpose fulfilled. The pain remains, it always will, but now justice accompanies it. Sometimes revenge isn't about matching violence with violence. It's about making the guilty understand the weight of their crimes, about carving that understanding so deep it never fades. If this story moved you, share it. Subscribe for more stories of justice and retribution.